Hello, hello, my darlings. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fabulous, actually, because you are fabulous. And I always like to remind you of that in case you forgot. And I sometimes need to remind myself of that as well. The past few days have been a bit heavy on me because I shared that I started my egg freezing process and my egg count is not really high. So that's what's happening in my life. Other than that, life is good. I hope you're having a wonderful summer so far. I recorded this episode with my friend Lisa. We are both podcasters and we can like chat forever. And I think this topic is a very relevant one, and it's about friendship breakups and how to deal with those moments where you see that a friendship is just like not what it used to be, or when you're drifting apart, and if you are at to that point, and if you're at that point when you actually have to have a friendship breakup, like a conversation, and you just like decide you're not gonna be friends anymore. We kind of shared what we think you should do or what you should not do. And a topic that I'm really interested in is unfollowing friends after a friendship breakup, because I'm a big proponent of unfollowing exes and anybody who's not in your life. But it's interesting. A lot of people shared a lot of opinions on my recent reels from this episode. So I'm really curious what you guys think. And don't forget to leave a comment, a review. Please leave a 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify. It really helps the show grow. It means so much. And I just want to know from you guys, like, what kind of content you want to see. I'm creating this for you. So just tell me what you want to listen. This year, I've been switching up my episodes a bit. I feel like before it was only like an expert conversation. I would have a therapist or somebody on and we would like talk about specific topics and like getting super deep. But this was more like a friendship chit chat conversation. And I really love this. I love talking to Lisa, and she is just such a lovely, lovely addition to my life. So shout out to her. And I hope you love this episode. Let's dive right in. By the way, what do you think about my red nails?
I'm obsessed. I told you
It's
yesterday.
So weird.
I love it. It doesn't look weird at all. I feel like the most powerful hoe when I have red nails on. Have you heard about the red nail theory?
Yeah, I'm usually
it doesn't
like
apply to you because you're wiped up. Yeah. It hasn't worked yet, but I'll keep you posted. So we're gathered here today because there's something that I think we need to talk about more.
What?
And it's friendship breakups. I think we talk so much about romantic breakups.
Yeah.
I think we see that growing up. We see that in the movies. We see couples getting divorced. People getting divorced. We see couples breaking up. We see all of that, right? We're kind of taught that that is expected. A normal part of life, perhaps. Maybe some people don't go through that. You're blessed. But I think that is something that we all in our minds are like, oh, that happens, right? But I don't think we've normalized the fact that that can happen with friendships. And I want to talk about female friendships because I just think female friendships are so different than male relationships. Also, we are both females. So
kind of easier to talk about
It's kind of easier to talk about what we know. But I really do think they're different. And the way that we operate is very different. We're just so much more emotional. And the tie, therefore, I think is so much deeper. So I want to just talk about why friendship breakups are so hard. I want to talk about what to do when you're going through them and just kind of our outlook on them. So does anything come to mind when I say that initially? Have you had one recently?
I'll tell you what first came to my mind.
Tell me.
I feel like for some reason, women are not, it's almost like, I don't even know how to express this. I was talking to Wes about this the other day and video games.
Okay.
So I used to hate video games. I still kind of don't love them. But I was talking to I had this therapist on my podcast, Therapy Jeff. He's amazing. And I actually asked him, why do men play video games?
How they connect, kind of.
Yes. Yeah. So they connect. And Wes plays video games sometimes. Not all the time, but like he plays a little bit. And I didn't even understand that they do this almost like as a hangout. Like they talk, like they chit chat. The game is almost like secondary. But I feel like women don't have anything like that. Maybe it's just me, but I don't have any time. When I was younger, sure, we would be on MSN and like chat with my friends. Maybe this is events for us because we go to a lot of events. I mean, I go to a lot of events. I don't know if you go. You don't really go to events
I don't like
anymore.
events,
Yeah,
but I'm working on it.
yeah. But like that's where I get my like social battery filled. But I feel like I don't have a group of friends, and I talked about this on multiple episodes that we feel like women should have this like girl gang and like 4 best friends, Sex in the City vibes. Let's go everywhere together. I don't have that, and I don't know. Like I just, and even when I try to combine friends, it almost seems forced sometimes.
Okay. There's so many things that you said that I want to touch on. The first one is having something similar to men having games. See, I think for women, it could be so simple as even voice noting back and forth with a friend
But that's
during a
with
day.
one friend.
Yeah. But because see, that's the thing is like, I think it's unrealistic, especially as we get older. I think not everybody has a group like
But they,
that.
what I meant here is like they have a group of guys that are
Okay.
still friends, and
Yeah.
everybody
Oops, sorry.
accepts each other.
Yeah.
Nobody is like his friends from college. Like
Yeah.
it's just
I
a
have
different vibe.
I have that, but and we have a group chat on WhatsApp, but like it's not always poppin'.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes somebody will send a funny meme or something like that. So I get what you're saying. I think for us it's different. Like for us it's like we kind of make it work where we can make it work. Like if for us maybe that's podcasting together. We love
Yeah.
to do that,
Yeah.
you know? Or it's going to brunch, going to dinner, going to an event, meeting people there, voice noting back and forth, sending memes back and forth. To me that's a love language. Like sending TikToks
do you
to
send
people.
me memes?
I send TikToks. That's my thing. Like that's what I love. Like
I don't remember receiving one.
okay, I'm gonna start thinking about you to send you
You
TikToks
do send
and
me
memes.
voice notes. I like your voice.
I
I don't
love-
like a lot of voice notes. I saw like some people's voice notes.
You
You're
like
one of
mine?
them, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is it a FaceTime call? Is it whatever it is? Like I think for us it's so different, but I totally hear what you're saying. The second thing I want to touch on is the whole idea that women have these group girl best friends. And what I think about that is it makes me sad that that is so perpetuated in movies because then we think if we don't have that,
Yes.
we're not worthy of that, or that
Facts.
we don't have friends when we don't have the group.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you do have a group of girlfriends that you're still close with and that you still have and that you've maintained over the years, that's amazing. That's really hard to do. And if you have that, you should feel really blessed and lucky to have that. But if you don't have that, there's literally nothing wrong with you. And if you only have one friend that's your person, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think we need to walk away from the quantity versus quality conversation with friendship, especially with women. It's like the more friends you have, the cooler you are. Like no one literally gives a fuck. Like I think that's the thing that we walk away from as we get older, because you start to realize what truly matters. You start to get pickier about the people that you have in your life. You have less time, therefore you don't have as much bandwidth to like spread to all these people. And I just think as you grow up, you just realize like you don't have that much in common with maybe everybody that you did once before. So it makes me really sad when people feel bad that they don't have this friend group because they feel like therefore they're not worthy of friends. You know
I'll
what I
just
mean?
tell you right now, since it's summertime, we're both like wearing.
I know.
Yeah, it's
well,
cold in
to
the
be fair,
studio.
it's freezing everywhere in Miami inside.
I'm sure everybody sees a group of 5 girlfriends at this beach venue,
Mykonos.
Saint-Tropez, South of France. Like people are living life. And sometimes these girls barely know each other.
Yeah.
Like I know from me personally, I take photos with girls that I barely know their last name. So, and people think that we're like best friends.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
like,
that's like social media. You have to look at everything with a grain of salt.
that's where we think that everybody has a best friend. Like everybody, not a best friend. Everybody has like a group of girlies. They go to brunch together, but sometimes it's like a brunch, like I bring you and then somebody else brings somebody else. That doesn't mean that all 4 of us are like besties. But I always struggled with this I always thought that something's wrong with me because I don't
know
have
we've
this
talked
group of
about
friends.
this, yeah.
But then I would find this group of friends and I wouldn't like them.
Right.
Like I would like one friend and then she would bring the other 2 and I'm like, ah.
I will say I have seen a lot of different group of girlfriends. Like I've been the plus one in many of them. Like, oh, come, I want you to meet this or that, whatever. Okay, I've done that. And I've also then had conversations with the person that I was, that took me. And I've been like, oh, tell me about, this dynamic. Tell me about whatever after the hangout. And I really want to say 9 times out of 10, it's always like, oh yeah, they don't really get along. Oh yeah, they kind of don't like each other. So it's not always what it seems like it is.
Yeah.
So just keep that in the back of your mind if you're feeling bad about these things that you see online, like, it's like, we can't say this enough. You don't know what's happening behind that picture.
Yeah.
And in these groups, think about it also, like, if there's like 5 to 8 people, it's so hard for all these 8 people to like love each other and truly get along and truly have like these like deep friendships. Like, there's always 1 or 2 that are going to be closer. There's always, you know, so.
And then it hurts if you're not in the closer vibe because, okay, did you ever go on vacation with girlfriends?
Yes.
How was that?
I'm trying to think of like specific times. I've always had a blast. I didn't do that as much when we were younger. Like in high school, I feel like I went on trips with my family. And then I think I only started to do that more in college. And it was just very like short trips. And I've never really been on a trip where it's like tons of us, unless it's like a bachelorette or something like that. Very recently, I went to London with my best friend. It was just the 2 of us. We had the best time. Before that, I went on a weekend trip with 3 friends. We went to Nashville. So much fun. But again, like, it's never like, you know, 10 of us.
Yeah.
I don't have a group of 10 people that all like love each other.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that men do that easier. Like men do groups much easier than we do groups.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe sometimes women just don't want to, I don't know, compromise in some, I don't know. Because for me, thinking of my friendships and like trips and whatever, I didn't really go to so many besides obviously the bachelorettes and whatever. Because when I was living in Croatia, I was always working every summer because I wanted to make money. And then I did have this one girl trip with my 4 or 5 best friends at a time. And I was pissed off at this one for this. This one didn't do this. This one tried to be cheap and like didn't pay for the dinner.
It's hard, yeah.
And it just frustrates. Okay, this is funny. I can't stand when you go to a group dinner and somebody doesn't want to, like, if I tell you, let's tip $25.
And somebody's trying to be,
you're trying to save $5. I stopped going to dinner with these people. If you are, like, it's not even the $5. It's like you're trying to make it difficult and you're trying to be cheap.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know why this made me so angry.
But I think that's also, I mean, for me, when I think about trips, I am just a very particular person and I know what I have the battery for. And so I don't put myself in a lot of situations because I know, like, I like my space. I like my things. Like, I know that I'm like that. So I'll be very careful about that. And also, I think you never really get to know someone until you travel with them. There's only one trip that I can really think of, maybe 1 or 2, that after we came back, I was like, oof. You know, I saw them in a different light. I was like, we are not compatible to travel together. And that's okay. It doesn't, you know, there's friends that I love that I would never go on a trip with. You know what I mean? Because I just know we're different. We like to do different things. Our idea of fun and leisure is completely different.
What is your idea of fun and leisure?
It totally depends where we're going.
Let's go. Let's say we're going to LA, you and I. What do you want to do? I haven't been to LA that much, so I don't really know what's up
if we were going to LA,
I want to go to Air One.
So down. I want to try the fucking smoothie, and I want to try the cauliflower, the buffalo cauliflower. I mean, if we were going to LA, I would say I love to like eat yummy food. I like to have some drinks. I don't want to stay up too late because I get tired.
Same. I want to go maybe like on one hike.
Maybe one. Yeah, I'm not trying to be like active all week. I don't know. It depends on who I'm with and what they like to do. I'm very adaptable as well.
Yeah.
So if we were going together, I know that we would probably go on a cute hike. We would go have like yummy food. We would probably go podcast. Then we'd probably want to chill for a little. Then we'd have like a cute dinner, have some drinks, and then I know we'd go to sleep.
You know, you know what I mean? Yes. I have to say that I don't know how I'm saying that I'm not going on girls trips and I'm hosting my bougie best trips.
Yeah, but like, that's different. I feel like that's a completely different thing.
But I will say with those girls, so the bougie best trip, for those who don't know, is a trip where what I'm hosting and people don't know each other. So all girls come solo.
I like low-key want to go to the next one.
Honestly, the best part of this is like nobody knows each other. So there's no crazy like expectations of what each should do.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part. Like one of them can just go and hang out on their own the entire afternoon and nobody's upset.
Yeah.
With these women, it was just so refreshing. That was honestly, those are my favorite trips. I mean, my bougie
I think
best
I might
trips.
want to go to the next one.
But talking about friendships and
wait, let's talk about breaking up.
Oh, okay.
So when was your last friendship breakup? Or one that stands out?
Yeah. I feel like, okay, I don't have like actual breakups. Like we don't really have a conversation.
Or like a just distancing.
There's one that comes to my mind with this girl that I was living with in New York. We were like getting along really well. We had an actual breakup.
Okay.
And the reason why we were roommates, and I didn't like a bunch of things she was doing, like not cleaning her hair from the drain and like just like random shit, like using my blender, never cleaning the blender. So like I come home and then I have to clean the blender first and then I can make my smoothie. Like,
That's so annoying.
hate
Like,
that.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because a blender's a lot of fucking work to
I have
clean.
to say, living with roommates is really difficult. I never had a great, like, phenomenal roommate experience. Maybe it's me.
No, I don't.
Very possible.
I think it's important to be self-aware and know things that you enjoy and don't enjoy. I do not want to live with anybody.
Yeah. So this girl, we were like bonding. We were like hanging out. Like she was going out with me. Like we were going out together. We were like in the same mindset at some point. And she was just not a great roommate. And I'm sure she thought the same about me. But I was talking shit about her to one of my other friends. But it was just like I'm complaining about my roommate. You know, it's like you do that.
You're venting.
Venting. And this bitch, this
Told her.
told her. And they didn't even know each other at that time. They met like after, I think maybe I was even in Miami already. And I think that one day I just realized that this girl unfollowed me, like my ex, my roommate.
So there was never a conversation.
No, there was. I think I messaged her and we said something. And I messaged her like, oh, I see you unfollowed me. We already kind of drifted apart.
Yeah.
Like when I was deciding to move to Miami, and it was like, there was just a lot of things that she did that I'm not going to get into in this episode that like really felt like she stabbed me in the back. Like, she did that. Like she actually did it. But she was also a good friend at some point. So like, God bless you. Anyway, we had a little breakup because she found out that I said shit about her.
Okay.
I don't know what this girl said exactly. And then I messaged that girl. And this girl just like totally deflected. Like she didn't want to talk about it. She's like, we're going to talk about it next time I see you, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm too old for this kind of relationships. Like if I had an issue with you for using my blender constantly and not cleaning it and just like making my life more difficult. And I told you this 5 times.
You're saying this to her?
When we lived together, I told her like, yo, can you just clean the blender? Like, clean the blender.
So what was the last conversation?
The last conversation was, we just like stopped being, I don't know. She unfollowed me and I don't know. I don't really remember. I can literally check in my messages because I still have it because we shared some kind of like phone bill or something.
Okay.
So like we still had to keep in touch for a little bit. Honestly, I mean, sometimes I think about her. I'm like, oh, I wish this didn't end this way.
Do you miss her?
I don't miss anybody, but because I feel like if you're supposed to be in my life, you would be in my life and we would work it out, whatever it was. But like with this girl specifically, she was, I don't know. She just started judging me at some point, and I don't like feeling judged by my friends.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel
like
judged
if
by
I'm
your
going
friends.
through a phase, if I'm going out a lot, if I'm partying, if I'm like, sure, you can sit me down and say, hey, I think that, you know, what's going on? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Instead of, I remember like once I was in my single days, I came home like maybe like at 9 a.m. I slept over at somebody's house. I don't know even where I was. She's like, where were you? Like,
yeah, like the tone.
yeah. It's not even like, okay, give me the tea. What's happening?
Well,
It was
it's not
like,
what you say, it's how you say it.
yeah. So that's one that came to my mind because that was like an official friendship breakup because she told me I no longer want to be friends with you. I'm like, okay, cool.
But see, I think that's not easier because none of these situations are easy, but I think it's easier to digest when you really don't feel like this person is adding something to your life. If they're just taking away, then I feel like it's easier to walk away from. And I also think it's easier, but also hurts a lot when you're slowly distancing from someone.
Yeah.
Like that also feels shitty because it's like you both know what's happening, but like nobody wants to maybe say something. And so then it just kind of, you just distance and then it's over.
What do you think about unfollowing friends?
I mean, I wouldn't unfollow a friend. So if
No, not a friend. Like if you go through a friendship breakup. We are midway through summer, and I know how overwhelming it can feel to have like proper plans in place. You see everyone on socials living their best life, and you are kind of thinking like, I'm not doing enough. You get in your head, but I'm here to tell you that you are exactly where you need to be, and never compare your life to what you see on socials. But honestly, I do the same thing sometimes because we are all human. When I catch myself comparing and I feel like I just need to get out of this funk, I head over to the Aloe Moves app. It is literally my favorite app for everything health and wellness. It's like my safe space. space. No matter how I'm feeling, there's something on this app that can help me, like a self-care practice, breathwork session, a guided meditation. I sometimes have trouble sleeping, so I love to snooze away with one of their sound baths. Or if you need new recipe ideas, they have a great nutrition series by Dr. Amy Shaw. And of course, Alo Moves is crushing it with all of their workout options: Pilates, yoga, HIIT, boxing, the list goes on. So this summer, stay on top of your wellness routine no matter where you go and sign up for Alo Moves today. Join alomoves.com and use code BESTFRIEND for a 30-day free trial, plus enjoy 20% off an annual membership. That's alomoves.com, code BESTFRIEND for a 30-day free trial and 20% off an annual membership. alomoves.com, code BESTFRIEND.
I think it's a move. Like, I know how people are like, oh, it doesn't mean it does mean something.
Yeah.
It means
In
you
today's
went and you
world,
unfollowed me when you could have just muted me, so therefore it means something. I'm not saying you're not allowed to do it, but I'm just saying it does mean something.
Yeah.
You know? So I think there's meaning behind it.
Because there's some people that I used to be friends with.
Yeah.
And I no longer want to be associated with them. I don't think we have anything in common anymore. And I'm constantly debating
On unfollowing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
because when I see them, also maybe they remind me of the person I used to be. And
that
they
so
trigger
happens
me.
to me. Yeah.
And I'm like, you represent everything that was wrong in my life at some point. And you were there and you supported me doing bad shit.
I think you need to protect your peace before anything else. If they're not in your life, they're not adding anything to your life, why are you following each other? You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes we do it because we don't want to make somebody else feel bad. I'm definitely guilty of that. And it's easier to just mute somebody because at the end of the day, it is a move. Like, you know what I mean?
I remember, let me just tell you one story about one friendship breakup that I totally vividly remember.
And then I want to give tips on what to do when you're going through one.
You should give me the tips. This girl and I, we were friends my entire life in New York. So we were friends for like 7 years.
Okay.
And we had like a little discussion at some, like something happened at some point, like we drifted apart. I was really heartbroken at that point. I sent
because of her or heartbroken by a man?
No, by the friendship breakup.
Okay.
And the thing what happened first, why we started drifting apart, I started dating a guy. Okay. And it was like a relationship. She was in her single phase. She wanted to go out and party. And I was like, this is just not who I am anymore. I want to hang out with this man. She then took it very, like, she just was upset that I don't want to go like party with her. And then she would like hang out with my friends behind my back. And like, it was just so crazy. So we separated. We became friends again later. Like, we cleared the air and like, we're like, okay, now we're mature. Let's be friends again. She then started doing a lot of crazy shit, whatever. And she was just wishy-washy. And she, like, one time she was living in New York. I was living in Miami already. I flew down to New York and she was supposed to leave me the keys of her apartment.
Okay. Oh, you told me about this.
She did not leave the keys. I remember this. And then
you had to get a hotel.
Yeah. It's not even about paying for the hotel.
No,
like,
it's
you're
the
literally
principle.
inviting me.
It's the principle.
You're telling me I can come stay there and I come in front of your front door with my suitcase. You're like, oh shit, forgot the key. Forgot to leave it. I'm like, okay, call somebody, like figure something out.
What did she say?
She recently changed her locks. She was living in one of those old apartments in New York where you don't have like a doorman, but you like nobody can like light you up.
Yeah.
She changed the lock or something, and then the super didn't have the new key, whatever.
But don't you think that action, and listen, I'm not saying anybody's perfect except for me. I'm just saying like anybody can make a mistake.
Of course.
Anybody can fuck up. But don't you think that action is a reflection of where the friendship was?
She
you know what I mean?
Not
it was literally just like
at all. She started dating this guy. Again, we cut all ties, so I don't know what's going on with her. She's still with him or whatever.
Did you have a conversation?
No.
It just distance.
Just distance. Not even distance. She was like having a toxic relationship with this guy.
Well, sometimes I feel like there's nothing that needs to be said. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like it's very clear on both sides that this is just simply not it, especially as women. Like we know, like, you know.
And then why I unfollowed her, I never had a conversation with this girl because that's, again, there's nothing to be said here anymore. First of all, if you forget to leave the keys, just like she said, oh, I'm so sorry.
I would like, literally book you a hotel right then and there.
She didn't like offer to, she was like, oh, I'll like overnight the keys. I'm like, I'm here for one day. I was just there for like a wedding or something. But with her, there's nothing to be said. And then I was attending a friend's wedding and I was just thinking, if I was getting married tomorrow, would I invite her? And I was like, no. So I was like, you gotta go, because
Yeah.
she was like really bothering me, like this relationship with her, because I had it for so long, for 7 years, and I don't know, that was a bad one.
I think that's such a real thing. What you just said is sometimes, and this happens to us even with men, right? We feel like the time invested into a relationship or a
Yes.
friendship dictates whether or not we should stay or continue. It's like, oh, we've invested so much, I might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, I've invested this much into
The
into the
history.
relationship, so I don't want to throw it all away. Okay, so you'd rather just keep doing fucking clownery in this relationship than like say it should be the opposite. It
Yeah.
should be, wow, let's say if it's a friendship, not a relationship. If it's a friendship, it should be, wow, yes, we had such a beautiful friendship for however long. It worked in that moment. It doesn't work anymore. Like, but it's so hard because I think as women,
I just realized something. Go ahead. I'll tell you when you're done.
the bond that we develop in female friendship is so deep that
Why is it so deep? Like,
Be-
why do we
because
do that?
I mean, I think physiologically,
Yeah.
we're stemming from more of an emotional place to begin with. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, so it's like we tell each other our secrets, we get involved in each other's lives, we become, I think just the way we attach as women is also different. The expectations that we have in our friendship is different than what men
Yeah.
have. I think as women, it's so much more normalized to be deep and to share your emotions and to tell a friend what you're going through, to tell a friend your secrets, to be vulnerable. Vulnerability takes so much of a role in female friendships that I think there's all these layers, there's so much depth. So when that bond breaks, it feels like a truck is running over us. Like with men, it's so funny. There's this video. I'm going to try to find it and we can link it in this episode. There's this video that's like, the title of it is How Men Make Friends. And it's two guys.
Yeah.
The first time they just walk by next to each other, they just give each other the eye. Okay. The next time they walk by each other and it's like, they kind of like smirk at each other. Okay. The third time they're like, hey, bro. The other guy's like, hey, what's up? Third time they dab it up.
Yeah.
Fourth time they're like, hey, you want to come play basketball? Boom.
Friends.
Groomsmen at my wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're so complicated and deep.
We are, but I love it because it's hard, but that's where we have these like sisterly, almost
Yeah.
like soul sister like friendships. Like it's so special, but it hurts just as much.
I just realized that both of these friendship breakups that I talked about, they both did the same thing.
What?
They would talk to a guy that I was talking to later. So like if I was seeing somebody, let's say in January, they would talk to them like in July. Both of them with
it's so
different.
crazy
I
to me,
can't
like,
even believe that I just like connected.
It's so
that.
crazy to me how there's literally, unfortunately, so many men in this world and
Yeah.
women will still recycle.
Sad.
Like I'd rather lay in the street than have a
Yeah.
man that my friend went through.
Some women don't mind, unfortunately. I had friends.
I'm
that
sure there are
were
cases
just,
where it's like maybe that is the love of your life.
I
So if that
mean,
happened to you, I'm so
is
sorry,
it-
but then you're the exception. You're not the rule. You know what I mean?
I think the love of your life shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody else when you start dating him.
1,000,000%.
Let's go through. How do we go through friendship breakups?
Well, I asked my girls why friendship breakups were so painful. I want to read some of the things that they said.
Yes, tell me.
They said because they know our secrets, because you're constantly missing on a bond you feel like you probably won't find again. It's so similar to romantic relationships, honestly. They're an anchor of love and relationships. It's like the human connection without sex. You remember all the good moments and have to accept you won't have those again because you share so many memories and feelings that you feel like you can't talk about with other people, because we have expectations, because you would never think they would treat you that way, because we aren't. One of my best friends was the one who said this to me, and it literally, like, I was like, wow, it's so simple, but it's so true, because we aren't taught that friendships can end the way we are taught that romantic relationships can end. The feeling of betrayal is deeper with platonic love. Somebody said that. I don't know. I wouldn't know because I've never been betrayed whilst in love. I've been betrayed, but I wasn't in love.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I was betrayed by this one friend of mine. And she...
No, I've been betrayed by women, but I mean, not by men, so I don't know which one is deeper. You know what I'm trying to say?
You know, yeah, but I just... It's so funny how, like, as you're saying certain things, like,
It
things are
brings
just,
up
like,
things, yeah.
flashing. When you said the word, like, betrayed or betrayal, I just vividly have this girl's photo in my mind. And that's actually the girl that I was thinking, should I unfollow her? Because we're still, like, pretending. I mean, I'm not pretending. Like, I have not spoken to you in 2 years.
Yeah.
she was trying to reach out a few times, and I'm just like, I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah.
I do not.
Well, in that case, I think you
as a
should
friend.
unfollow her. I think, you know what? It's crazy. Like, even something as simple as should I unfollow this person that I'm no longer friends with?
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes that's all you have left with that person. So it's almost like, it sounds so silly, but it's not. And once you click that unfollow, it's like, that is literally the last thing connecting you two together.
Yeah.
So it's like, then it's really fucking over, even though it's already over.
You know what's funny? I talk to my mom sometimes about this, and like she knows most of my friends. I mean, all of my friends. And she always goes like, but they helped you in a hard time in your life, you know, when you were going through certain things. So like maybe you should keep the bond because of that. But I'm like, I would help anybody if they're going through a hard time. If you are breaking up with your boyfriend and you need to like, you need my help to like pack your boxes, I'll come.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah.
Because I feel like two things can be true at the same time. Like, someone can help you and be there for you, but they can also be a really shitty person to you.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, I could get help anywhere. You could find, you could get help. You could hire help. You know what I mean? It's like, just because something served you at one point doesn't mean you're obligated to continue having that person in your life.
And the truth is, even if you would have a conversation with some of these relationships, they wouldn't take accountability and they wouldn't say, yes, I fucked this up, or like, let's try to fix this. And it's almost like having a conversation is just like you talking to a wall, and they're not receptive and they don't even want to hear you out and actually understand. And that's why I'm like, sometimes I don't even need to have a conversation, because I don't need to teach you how to be my friend.
Right.
If you're, you know, if I have a major success in my life and you don't say congrats, but when you see something shitty is happening to me, then you're like, is everything okay? Or you just want gossip. Like, you don't even care how I'm doing. And this happened with this exact friend that I'm talking about. She was just like checking in when she saw something bad was happening. Yeah, I don't like that. You just want to talk to other people about me, which is not good.
No. So, okay, let's give some things that have helped us navigate either distancing from a friend, because that hurts, losing a friend, breaking up with a friend. I know we're saying the term breakup and that sounds aggressive, but it's just semantics at the end of the day. It's just like not being close with someone that you were once close with.
I think I just understand that we change in our life, and we are not always gonna need the same people that we like. For example, if you are going out and you're in your party era and you like party friends and you find a relationship that you're happy with, and you know, you just go into this other direction. And if this is with your party friend, you guys don't really have that much in common. If that was not a deep relationship, it's also difficult. Like, you and I are both entrepreneurs, podcasters, like we have this kind of life. It's hard to be super close, and correct me if I'm wrong, to be super close with your friends that have families, that live so far away, that have a totally different life. Because I'm going to tell them, oh my God, like my podcast didn't upload today. And she's going to be like, well, my baby just like puked all over my couch. So it's kind of hard to relate. But also, I think with some relationships, you have to put in the work, even with friendships. It doesn't, people think that friendships are flowing.
No, it's so much work. Yeah, I think that's such a misconception, is that if you just have a friend, they're your friend forever. And yeah, maybe they are, right? But that doesn't mean it doesn't require work and constant work. And
Let's talk about work. Like, how do you maintain a relationship, a friendship?
What's helped me is, first of all, knowing myself and knowing what I need to feel fulfilled in a friendship. And then along the same lines, knowing that friend and knowing what they need and knowing what's going to work for us, because all of my friends are so different and all of them like to feel connected in different ways. All of them like to do, some of them like to do different things. A lot of them don't live in the same city. So it's like, I just really understand what they all need. And I tried to do my best to act accordingly. Like, I know one of my friends hates voice notes. She lives in California, hates voice notes, loves to talk on the phone. We have completely different work schedules and we make it work. Like, we'll literally Gcal each other a phone call because that's what works. Because we're both busy and that like, but you know what I mean? It's like those little things that you do when you want it to work and when you want to feel connected. One of my friends has a baby and I love her baby so fucking much. She's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's just easier for her if we go to her house. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when we want to do a plan, we all go to her house. Or if, you know, when we have a plan, we have to plan it maybe a little bit more in advance because she has to figure out, okay, who's going to take care? You know what I mean? So it's like working around schedules. With another friend, it's like, okay, maybe it's planning a trip, you know, with Another friend, it's what, I think it's just getting to know what is going to make you both feel the most fulfilled and the closest.
I'll tell you something that you do that's really cute.
What?
You send me little treats.
I'm a gift giver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my love. That's how I show love.
Yeah, that's one of the cutest things. Like when you send me cookies.
Yeah.
You send me ice cream.
I love sending. See, and you live in my same city, but that's one of my biggest things for people who don't live. Like if you have friends in different places, Uber Eats is your best friend.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be extravagant. Send your friend a
soup
coffee.
if they're like not feeling well.
If she's having a shitty day, send her a coffee. Send her a cake pop. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I love doing that because sometimes I feel like words aren't enough. Sometimes, I don't know. Like I love doing that. It's just something I've always done.
Thank you for all of the
you're
treats.
welcome.
I
know you're an ice cream girly, so I either send you cookies or ice cream.
Yes.
So, okay, what makes you feel better when you're going through one of these weird periods of, oh, we're kind of not talking again or anymore,
What does make me feel better? I don't think about it. I just feel like, sometimes I think I was betrayed by I have high expectations, and I feel like my standards are really high with all relationships in my life.
As they should.
So if they are not rising up to the occasion, I left my entire life in Croatia. So for me, it's like I just detach.
Yeah.
I'm not dwelling over it.
Yeah.
If it's meant to be, like if you're supposed to be in my life, you will be in my life. And I make an effort, but if I feel like you're not even congratulating me on certain, like
if it's one-sided.
Yeah. I don't like one-sided friendships. So what helps me is just move on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have
it's kind of like a romantic breakup. Like you literally just have to close the door.
Yeah.
Not communicate anymore.
Yeah.
And move on with your life and fill it up with different things, whether it's even just leaving that space empty for somebody new to come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also agree with you. I think like the people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life. I think it's so much simpler than we make it seem. We love to complicate shit, but at the end of the day, it's the same with dating, in my opinion. Not that I should know because I'm single, but honestly, I've seen a lot of beautiful relationships and I've seen, like what happens. And I think when somebody wants to be in your life in some capacity, they will make it known. They will make it known by how they act, if they communicate with you, if they show up for you, if they congratulate you. We're all different, but like it's very obvious when somebody cares about you. I'm not saying every friendship has to be it has to be your soul sister. I'm not saying every friendship has to be the same, has to be super deep. No, but when someone cares about you and when someone wants to be in your life in some way, it, like at the end of the day.
What about if somebody wants to be in your life, but you don't want them in your life?
Oh, that's hard, right? I think it depends on why. Like, why don't you want them in your life? Is it because you're not compatible? Is it because they've done something shitty? Is it because you just don't like them?
I just feel like I have a lot of people right now in my life that like want to get together. They want to have drinks. They want to have dinners. They want to have this, that. Like, they just want to hang.
Okay.
And I don't have the energy to hang.
Like, for you, it's like, it's not that, like, you'd rather do that with someone that you already are close with. You don't want to do it with a bunch of people that, like, you're just going to small talk with?
Maybe, but also...
Or, like, you don't see a future. You know what I mean?
Or I'm just like, you're not bringing any value into my life. Like, not that every relationship has to be, like, value driven, but if I am
in some way, like, I think it does. Whether it's, like, they're bringing you happiness.
Okay, I'll give you an example. If somebody that I barely know, like, I know them, like, superficially through Instagram or something, and they're like coming to Miami, they're like, oh, you want to grab drinks? I'm like, no, I don't need to grab drinks with you. Like,
I mean, I think you have the full right to not want to do that. And I think similar to dating, once you say no a few times, they will get the message.
You would think.
Well, if they're persistent, then you just got to keep saying no.
Yeah, I mean, you know that meme that's like, oh, I'm coming to your city.
And you're like, have fun.
Have fun. Yeah, I mean, and also because we live in a city that's like a party city.
Yeah.
And people expect us to go to like party places and like pop champagne and stuff. Just like, I just don't.
You know what I want to bring up really quick is sometimes, which makes me upset, that's why I'm so happy we're having this conversation. And I would love to have more about this subject because I want to just like humanize this conversation, because I think when we do hear about friendship breakups or friendships, it's so it's so dramatic in the conversations that I at least hear about. It's like they broke up, like this friendship ended and whatever, something crazy happened, or it's, you know, and sometimes you just outgrow people. Nothing crazy happens. Sometimes you're just not in the place where you want to be having meaningless-ish nights, having drinks when like you just would rather be at home watching Love Island, like me, or with your boyfriend and your beautiful dog, like you. Or sometimes you're just not compatible with the person. Like, I think we forget about that. Like, sometimes I can think of this one person who a lot of my friends, we have a lot of friends in common. Her and I are just not compatible.
And is she's trying?
No. Like, I think we both know, like, we're just not compatible, which is crazy because I can really try to get along with anybody. There's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with me.
Absolutely not.
Nothing at all. We're both great people. Yeah. We're just literally not compatible. It doesn't mean she's a bad person. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with her. At the end of the day, like, we're not going to be compatible with everybody.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. Like, it's sometimes uncomfortable to be like, wow, why is everybody friends with this person and I can't be? It's fine. Like, truly, there's some people that you're just not meant to be friends with. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know? Or just because you're friends very close in one moment doesn't mean you're always going to be very close. Like, I think you brought this up a few times of like, if you're in your party era, if you're in whatever fucking era you're in, all my friends are in different eras and it does present a challenge sometimes. Yeah. Again, you make it work if you want to make it work. But of course, you're going to be naturally closer to the people that are on your same wavelength because you have more in common. Like, you have more to talk about. You have more things to do. So I think that's also something to keep in mind. Like, it's okay if you're not as close because you're both in different pages. Like, if you still care about each other and you still want to be in each other's lives, you can still find common ground. It's just going to be maybe less than before.
Yeah. What do you think about friends that, like, they're actually busy and they are not finding time to hang out with you? Does that mean that it's like, oh, I mean, I do that. So that's why I'm asking. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm so busy that I don't have time to go for a lunch with someone. But am I really that busy or I just don't want to see them?
That's a question you have to ask yourself, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think there's two different, it's so situational also, but I think if somebody always can with everybody else, but they never can with you, then they're not busy. They just don't want to do it with you.
You know, I just realized I'm talking about this like one specific girl, and I just realized that every time I hang out with her and I like go home,
you feel bad.
I feel negative.
See, that's
like she's so like she complains about everything, and like she's a nice girl.
Yeah,
but she complains about everything.
Yeah. Well, I think how you feel after you hang out with someone. For me, I have like a few things that are so telling to me. That's one of them, is how I feel after I'm with somebody. I always feel depleted because everybody depletes me, even the people that I love the most. So that's a me problem. But it's like a good depleted. I feel like I'm like, oh, you know, like that's how I want to feel. If I get home and I'm already depleted and I'm like in a bad fucking mood because you were so negative or annoying, don't be surprised if I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
We also have to wrap up, unfortunately.
But
I loved this.
Yeah,
I feel like I could talk about this for hours.
Maybe we need to do a part
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, high five.
I love this.
Yay.
Okay, we hope you guys enjoyed this little friendship episode.
And let us know if you had any similar friendship breakups because we need to.
Yeah, tell us what hit because
trauma bond.
Yeah. This is so real. It's such a normal thing, and I just don't want people to feel bad if they don't have what they think everybody else does on social media.
I believe the movies.
And even if they do have it, that is not a reflection of you. Yeah. Somebody else having a girl group and you not having one doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Like at all.
And just know that they're probably like in that girl
You're
group.
perfect.
Me?
You, but I'm also saying that to whoever's listening. You're perfect. Stay crazy.
Stay crazy.
That's my new thing that I'm saying.
Okay, love it.
Stay crazy.
I'll say stay thirsty.
Okay, that's
Bye.
it.
Bougie Bestie, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast so you never miss out. I release new episodes every Friday. If you love Bougie Best Friend, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. Your support means the world and it helps the show grow. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at KOKO Beauty, and you can find Bougie Best Friend on Apple, Spotify, and all other major podcasting platforms. Love you. Bye.